All right, everyone, welcome back. So if you like what we're doing, please like, comment, and subscribe. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by this summer, so that way we can do live egg cuttings of our bull snakes, corn snakes, and western hognose. Now, today's video, we're going to work on finishing up this incubator. Now, as you can see, the light is on. Internally, the fan is working to circulate the air. All that's left is to add the heat tape and the shelves and get it back to being an actual incubator. So let's get to work. As you can see right here, this is where the drain used to be for the condenser that is up here in the top. We're going to use that to somewhat hide our wiring, and what's going to happen is the wiring for the heat tape is going to come up and through that hole, and our thermostat wiring is also going to come through here and come down onto the shelf as well. All right, so let's get that hole drilled and also grab some files to smooth it out so that way there aren't any burrs that potentially could injure our wires, because last thing we want is a short. And we'll get that done and be right back. All right, everyone, our hole is drilled. There is a piece of hose that has been placed into the hole to protect the edges so that our cords won't get hurt. And now we're going to move on to placing the heat tape and turning this back into an incubator. All right, let me back you guys up so you can see, and we'll get that done. Be right back. Okay, this is the heat tape that was in here originally. And originally I had the power cord running like this, and we're actually going to turn it around and run it the other direction now. So with this is a piece of 12-inch heat tape, 12 inches wide by roughly 3 feet long, and probably closer to 2 3/4 feet long. It's been folded almost in the middle. You can fold it as long as you don't continually fold and unfold it. And we're going to place this in the middle like this. This is actually more than enough heat tape to heat this entire incubator well above the required temperature. But with our thermostat, it will be able to control that heat and prevent it from causing trouble, and we will be good to go. All right, let me get this secured down. To secure this down, actually, before we secure it down, let's talk about these connections. Wherever this was purchased from, this connection here and this connection here was either made by the company that sold it, or it was a kit that was done, that was sold by the company. That being said, for something like this, it is cheaper, quicker, and easier to have the company selling the tape make the connections for you instead of waiting or dealing with it yourself, unless you are fully confident that you can do it yourself. All right, let's get this put in place, and we will get this one step closer to being done. Well, everyone, it was going great, and then we ran into a small problem. I will say, though, real quick, this tape that I'm using is aluminum foil tape. It is 3M product. You can get it at Lowe's, and it is in the air conditioning area. But if you can see right here, here's our issue. Something decided to come loose, so we're going to have to fix that. That was unexpected, but it's not too much of an issue. But if that one's a problem, we're going to open up the other side and see what's going on there, and then work on cleaning it up and re-securing everything to make sure that it's safe, because the last thing we want is to burn our house down. So what I did is I pulled this apart, uncovered everything, and then soldered the wire back to the crimp so that way it can never come undone again. Doing this makes me very happy that I've redone this incubator, because having loose connections like this can completely burn down your house. It's a very serious problem, and this makes me glad that we've done this, and now this will be a safe incubator. All right, let's get this back together and ready to be hooked up to the thermostat. The heat tape's in, the wires are ran. The only thing left is to handle the thermostat probes, and that will be done after we finish putting everything back together. So let's get the inside of this thing put together, and then we'll work on finishing up the plug wiring in the back of the incubator and getting the thermostat in. All right, let's get to work. Now, outside of the thermostat probe wiring, the inside is complete. Let's go over the important components of this. All right, so in any incubator, you have your airflow, and I'm doing that with the fan that I custom mounted up into the top. You have your heat reservoir, which is the water bottles that are in the bottom. I need to get some more. And then you have your heat control with the heat tape that is running along the bottom, through the water bottles, and up the back. And by stirring the air, you make a consistent temperature. When you open and close the door, the water bottles help to regulate the temperature internally, so that way you don't have a large temperature drop. And also, reptile eggs, if you will, in a sense, breathe, and they do better with air that moves. If it's a stale air, stagnant air, or what's known as a still air incubator, typically, air quotes here, typically, eggs don't do as well. So by having the fan, by having our heat source, our heat reservoir, our inside of our incubator is complete. Now we need to get the wiring done for the plug to plug into the thermostat, and we need to run our thermostat probes. Now you'll notice that I have two shelves up very high. The top shelf is it's actually to hold water to help with humidity control inside the incubator. The second shelf is honestly, it's just there as storage, but most likely I'm going to put the thermostat on it, and I'm going to have it underneath the fan. So that way we have the air as it's moving and being pulled in through the fan and through the incubator itself. Now I may move it, I don't want to move it down too low, because then I'll get the radiant heat off of the heat panel, and I would much rather have the thermostat sort of in the middle. It may even be on, I may even move that shelf down and put it in the center, just to get the temperature kind of arbitrarily in the center of the incubator. We'll just have to see what I ultimately decide, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is for now, just to leave a nice big open area to place eggs. All right, let's get to work and finish this up. All right, everyone, the incubator is complete. It is turned on and it is warming up to incubation temperatures. And I'm primarily doing this because it got rebuilt and I need to make sure that when seasons come, it's going to do what it needs to do. Now, is this perfect? No. And it never will be. This incubator or this cooler was non-working when I got it. And while yes, it is a Coca-Cola cooler and everybody wants to know, where did I get the Coca-Cola cooler? I got it on Facebook Marketplace. I got it super cheap, like 50 bucks. It was non-working and it was specifically for this purpose. It will never cool anything down ever again. The seals on the door are messed up. It doesn't seal properly. It's a generally beaten down cooler that has seen the end of its days. Now, if you choose to do so, can also get a cooler like this, maybe not a Coca-Cola cooler. As you can see, the wiring, it's quite long, and that's intentional. Eventually, should I outgrow this incubator, and as you see, this is a Thermostat 2, it allows me to have a second temp probe on here and a second control, which means this is not married to the top of this by having that so long. It means I can place this cooler further away and the Thermostat at a plug, which is pretty beneficial, honestly. And if I end up with another cooler that I have to build, that is a benefit to the Thermostat 2. Was it completely necessary to do this modification on this cooler? The honest answer is no, but I'm glad I did, because I found a potential fire hazard right there on that heat tape. The connection actually came loose. It wasn't crimped well and it just fell out. And that is just one of the things that can happen with crimps. Now it is soldered in place. It is not crimped any longer. I've covered all the connections with electrical tape, and the wire has been fully secured. You can see the thermostat probe dangling there. It is not touching the metal cage, and we're slowly coming up to temperature. Now, this will end up getting pushed into the corner and left on for the next month probably, as I test it to make sure that it's going to properly regulate temperatures. And if there's any kind of issues with the modifications, I'll update the channel. But as of right now, it's done. I like the fact that I can now turn the Coca-Cola light on. The fan is also hidden. I'll try and see if I have a picture of it, but I had the fan just tucked into the bottom. All the heater wires and the probe wires ran out of the bottom of the door and just up the side of the machine to the thermostat. Now everything is very nice, very clean, and a single unit. All right, everyone, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.